All right, welcome everyone to our Leveraging LinkedIn event brought to you by the education chapter of the Phi Beta Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, Los Angeles. Today we'll be covering the basics of LinkedIn, and so our goal is to give you the tools to market yourself and have a good digital footprint as you are applying for jobs or even maintaining your profession. And so in a moment, I'll share my screen. I have a brief presentation and there'll be time for Q&A. So if there are any questions, this is really an opportunity not only for just learning, but also networking. All of you here could help each other at any point in time in your career. And that's the power of LinkedIn. It's a great way to show what you have to offer and see other ways that people can assist you. So without further ado, I will begin to share my screen. And are you able to see the presentation? Very good. Okay, wonderful.
Yes, I got it.
My name is Brother Jordan Tazwell, and I will be discussing today how you can leverage LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a social media platform that is owned by Microsoft and allows you to keep track of your resume, and it's almost a digital footprint for you to market yourself. And so I'll go over what is LinkedIn. I will discuss how to leverage LinkedIn. I will talk about the different type of accounts, job seeking tools, and we'll have a brief breakout session. Just because the audience is so small, we'll kind of keep everyone together. But this will be an opportunity to network. So think about your elevator speeches for what you do for a living and how you use LinkedIn. This is also an opportunity to share different ways to leverage the platform. And then if there's any additional Q&A, we'll also solicit that at the end. Okay. So what is LinkedIn? It's one of the world's largest professional networking on the internet, and you can use it to find the right jobs, such as internships, connect with professionals, relationships, and learn skills that you need to succeed in your career. You can access LinkedIn from a desktop, LinkedIn on a mobile app, or on the web experience. So me personally, I prefer to use the web experience when I'm applying and connecting with people, as opposed to the mobile platform. Even though the UI, the user interface is the same, as far as features and functionalities, there are some differences. So if I'm intentionally trying to connect with users, I try to do that on the desktop because some of the features are limited, such as like sending a message before you connect, which is a lot more personal. If you're out at a networking event and you connect with someone, it's always best to tailor just a brief message. Hey, my name is Jordan, and I met you at this happy hour mixer where we were discussing technology. Love to stay connected with you professionally. And so taking that time goes an extra mile because a lot of us receive a lot of spam. And so it identifies who you are, and it's a great way to connect with others. So the basics of LinkedIn. To the left, I have my profile, and by no means is this the gold standard, but this has worked for me. And so I just want to share some of that knowledge with you. So an up-to-date LinkedIn profile with a clear description of your professional experience should be outlined in your personal LinkedIn profile. What you want to try to do first, just have an up-to-date photo. You don't want to have a photo from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and you interview and the interviewer thinks you're a stranger or you're catfishing somebody. So, have something relevant in the past 2 to 3 years. It's nice to refresh, and it builds your confidence too, just putting something nice on and reflecting how you are at that moment in your life. So a background image is also a way to go the extra mile. There are several background images that LinkedIn offers, and then you can also create your own custom background image if you have your own business or if you're working for an organization and you'd like to market that. Or if you are in school and you want to represent your alma mater, you can have that as your background image. But it's your way of self-expression, and it takes a bland profile and kind of uplifts it. The About Yourself column. So Later, we'll go into my personal LinkedIn profile, but the About Yourself column is a great opportunity to talk about what you do for work. And so this is where you put your elevator speech. And this is also how recruiters and hiring managers find you on LinkedIn. And so the more information about your field that you're able to include in that column, and there's really no limit for the amount of information or dialogue you can provide, but you do want to have something kind of clear and concise that explains in a nutshell what you do and short enough that the reader will pay attention and get an understanding of your line of work, and then an opportunity for them to get more details as they look into your job experience. Um, the business headline. So the business headline is right below my name. And this is an opportunity where you can use leverage tag words. And so for me, I'm in cybersecurity and tech, and specifically governance, risk, and compliance. And so I highlighted business continuity, disaster recovery, backup administration, because these are opportunities that I'm looking for personally at this point in my career. If I change and I want to like go the leadership route, I could put like executive leader, chief information officer, chief technology officer, consultant. But like these are things that I'm strategically looking for. And it's almost very important to have those aspects so that you can market yourself. Contact information. So it's kind of tough in this day and age putting your contact information out there, and you are able to redact how people reach out to you. But I do think if you're an active job seeker, it would be useful to include your phone number and your email so LinkedIn can do that due diligence of sharing your information with recruiters. And so that is listed right after your location. Experience. So we'll go into that a little later as we dig into the profiles, but experience is just companies that you've worked for. And in that experience column, you'd want to use impactful statements. I prefer to write in paragraphs instead of bullets. It kind of lets individuals know the work that I've done. So like if I say routers, switches, cloud service providers, and like I say that I work for Amazon, that's nice, but that doesn't give you much context. But if I say I supported a multi-billion-dollar supply chain organization and their technical infrastructure, that kind of paints an abstract picture where it leaves you asking more. And so it's good to kind of have 2 or 3 sentences for each of your experiences. And with your experiences, you're able to tag certifications, publications, patents, photos, anything that you've worked on helps lift and showcase yourself. And so that's one of the features that LinkedIn has included, where you can brand and market yourself and showcase that you do have a good body of work. Education. So there are prerequisites for professional opportunities. And so listing your education is imperative. Depending on where you are in your career, there are pros and cons on certain parts of your education you include. So like for me, I didn't list high school because I graduated high school, went to college, and so I just include college. One of the strategies that people use at a point in their career is removing their graduation date. Ageism is a thing, and so depending whether you're early in your career or if you're at the tail end of your career, you may face challenges depending on the scope of work that you've completed. And so removing the education could still meet that prerequisite where you say that you have a BS in computer science, but you don't specify the graduation just because you're meeting that prerequisite, but you're not calling out information that isn't required. So just something to consider. In addition to education, license and certifications. So you can pursue professional licenses within your industry. There are also certifications that you can get on LinkedIn and with different certification authorities. So it's a good way to showcase all body of work that you've done and show that you're growing in your career. Volunteer experience is also big. I volunteer with Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. I volunteer with the Red Cross. And so I list that there, and it makes you more balanced as a professional. It shows that, you just don't go to work. It almost humanizes you. And so it shows what you're interested in and a great opportunity to just, add a little extra to your LinkedIn profile. Skills. So skills, again, are very targeted words that you include in your LinkedIn profile. And it's also how LinkedIn references how qualified you are for a position. So depending on what skills you include in your experience, in your headline, and within your education, this is also a targeted way to just like call out those specific things if they're looking for human resources, if they're looking for research, if they're looking for someone with a physical security background. This is where you would highlight those skills, and you can even tag those skills with experiences in the past. So if you were at Amazon and you worked with computers, you could list that there, and a recruiter or hiring manager could see that correlated skill. Another underrepresented feature of LinkedIn are recommendations. And so for every job that I work at, I usually ask for 2 or 3 recommendations. And it doesn't have to be immediate, but it's something good to have on your LinkedIn profile where people speak about what it's like to work with you. If you've done really well on a project, ask your peers to write a recommendation for you. Ask your manager to write a recommendation for you. But it reflects and allows people to kind of see that you're validated. It's almost like looking at reviews on Yelp. This is a great way to market yourself and make sure that you put the best foot forward so that you can have the best opportunities on LinkedIn and in your career. Courses. So LinkedIn offers a body of courses depending on what you're interested in. Some are free and some require you to have a premium profile, but it is very nice just to have those opportunities. If you're researching or trying to better your career, you can all find that all here in this platform. Awards and honors. So if you have any awards or honors, you want to include that there along with languages and any organizations you're affiliated with. You want to be tactical with what you include in your profile. So if in high school you were in the honor society, that's great. But if you're 20 years removed from high school, I don't think that's something that you could go to a hiring manager and say, oh, well, back in 1998, I was in the honor society and president of the Key Club. It's like, that's great, but like, what have you done recently? So as you refresh your profile, refresh your honors, and make sure that it reflects where you are presently in your career path. All right, so I'm gonna take a pause for a second. Does anyone have any questions before I move on to the profile URL?
Really quick, yeah, this is some great stuff. Thanks for Brother Tazwell for the outline and putting a magnifying glass on all of these bullet points. Um, what came up in the skills section was the keywords that employers use. And when they use AI, they kind of use AI and program keywords that actually help them scan profiles. Do you recommend us kind of mirroring our page with some of the keywords that they're looking for from your perspective or opinion?
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. That's a good point. One of the things I do to reference keywords that I need to include in my resume or my LinkedIn are the job description. And so depending on the role that you're applying for, you list and look at the job description, and you want to make sure that you highlight in your resume and in your LinkedIn profile what they're asking for. So if they say that you need to have a PhD, then you talk about like your research and that you've obtained a doctorate. If they say that you need to have research experience, you talk about research experience and maybe research tools that you've used, or if they ask for grant writing and publishing, you list that you have grant writing and proposal experience as a skill, and then that should be reflected in your experience. And so this kind of helps you couple and build out your profile. And it's a good way just to reflect on your own accomplishments. Sometimes I'm surprised when I look back at like some of the things that I've done, and I'm used to just moving forward. And like when I take the time to update my resume and my LinkedIn, it's like, oh, kind of pat myself on the back. It's a proud moment where um, I see what I've been doing is working, and I also see areas where I want to grow. So hope that helps answering your question.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you.
Brother Tazewell, again, thank you for this outstanding presentation. I really appreciate you taking the time to put it together and share this with the brothers. You spoke earlier about ageism and removing, dates that are, that kind of age us or date us.
Mhm.
Is that the same as the profile picture? You also told us to put a recent one up with the profile picture. Do you recommend a filter or some Miss Clairol? What are your recommendations so that I still look cute, but I still look young enough not to get young enough so that they don't scream me out because of age?
You want to reflect yourself. So the way that you would show up for an interview in person is the way that you'd want your profile picture to look. You don't want AI to generate a Denzel Washington version of you, and then this is not training day. So like you want to show up authentically as yourself. Ageism is unfortunate along with discrimination. And so I think that with every job opportunity that I walk into, I'm also interviewing them. And so I never want to go into a situation where it's toxic or malignant. And so if this is an organization where I am going to be discriminated against because of my age or for any other reason, that's not somewhere I want to be a part of. So you figure out the best way to represent yourself where you feel good at this moment in life. Um, my comment about the profile photos, like for instance, now I have a beard, but 5 years ago I was babyface, and so I looked like a complete stranger, like that was my little brother. And so as I change my look and like figure out who or what I want to represent at that point in my life, I want to make sure that my LinkedIn profile photo also is current and doesn't surprise people.
I also noticed that your lighting is real cute and it shows the boldness in your cheekbones.
I
I'm assuming
appreciate it.
I'm
I'll take
assuming I'm assuming that's important. Again, I notice again that that's a very professional photo. We could probably do that right now with a good iPhone, but lighting is probably important as well, would you say?
Yeah, so like even right now as we're on this Zoom call, I have natural light coming at me. And so you always want the light in front and above you. And so you could look into like the keys of photography, but just like look and see what works best for you. You want to make sure that you have a good webcam as you're interviewing and that you have a good phone to take pictures. An iPhone has definitely stepped up in major strides. So you don't always have to have professional photos taken, but there are things that a professional photographer are able to get out of you that's more natural. And so you can get some candid photos. They can also do soft touches, and there's higher resolution if you need headshots or things like that. Brother Fowles,
Thank you,
did you?
Brother Tazewell. Thank you.
No problem, Brother Smith.
I was just gonna share, I think, having um, an updated profile picture is great. Having, being aware of the isms that could happen is also great. But at the end of the day, I think for LinkedIn, especially, like making sure that your content is up to date and relevant is like the most important, because you can be old, but what you say and what you post on LinkedIn can be very relevant, right? Which will help to negate some of the biases potentially, right? And so if you're old and your profile old, then it's a lose-lose. But if you owe, but what you're saying and your content and the expertise that you're providing is relevant, it goes further.
Definitely. No, I appreciate that comment. All right, so I'm going to keep moving forward just so we have time for Q&A in the breakout session. So profile URL. So you have the ability to edit your profile URL. It gives you just some random mess that, isn't readable. And what I did was I changed mine to Jordan-Tazewell. Very simple. It's my name. And so when I share my URL with others, it's something that resonates and they're able to navigate to it pretty easily. And you just select that pencil and you can manipulate or change it. So we kind of talked about profile pictures and photos, so I'm going to skip through that. But status. So this is a big one, and it's been around, I think post-pandemic. I've started noticing that feature around 2021, that you can list that you're open to work, that you're hiring, or like you see in my profile, there's nothing. Open to work is a good feature. Just it lets recruiters know that you are seeking new opportunities. I don't like getting a lot of spam, and LinkedIn can be a distraction. And so when I'm not in job seeker mode, I usually turn off open to work. That there are pros and cons to that. The reason I've done it is just for privacy, even though I'm able to remove people from my company that I work at with the ability to see that I'm open to work. Some of those individuals may change organizations and now they have visibility. And so depending on relationships they have, they could report back. And so just for my own privacy, because my LinkedIn profile is open, I've chosen not to advocate that I'm open to work unless I'm truly seeking a job. You can list when, and for the open to work banner, it's a green banner that goes around and says open to work. For hiring, if you are in a hiring position, you're able to have a purple banner and it will say hiring and let people know that they can reach out to you for roles that you post. And then again, you could have a banner that's just nothing, and that's completely fine too. All right, so now we're going to cover the top of the bar when it comes to LinkedIn. So if you're navigating along and you go to linkedin.com, some of the things you see are home, network, jobs, messaging, notifications, and me will allow you to go to your profile. I don't have premium, but I have in the past, and so that will be listed there. And then you can also use LinkedIn for business, but we won't be covering that today because this is just highlighting the basics. So for my network, you can connect with your peers, new professionals, companies, and groups. And so a first degree connection is someone who is connected to you. So if you are friends with someone that you work with, there would be a first degree connection. A second degree connection is someone that one of your friends know, but you really have no relation at all. And then a third degree connection is like someone that you have no connection whatsoever, whether it's school, whether it's professional experience. And so it is a little bit more difficult sometimes connecting with those individuals. Sometimes you'll have to even include their email address to get verification and allow notifications. And so individuals who do public speaking or who may be influencers may leverage this just so that they could restrict how many connections that they have, because their platform kind of is oversubscribed. And so they really do want to be judicious with who they add instead of letting people blindly follow and connect with them. You can use LinkedIn for finding jobs. And I found that this was extremely helpful. When I use the finding job function, I choose to use a premium account. One of the benefits is that you have job seeking insights. So it compares your profile to the job description, and it gives you like an arbitrary estimate that like out of the 10,000 people that looked at this position, you would be in the top 10 percentile. So it gives you confidence when you go on applying that, you have a chance. That's not to deter you, but there are things that you may need to change with your profile And you want to think strategically about how you apply for jobs because it's a long process. You could face fatigue, and you want to be strategic and leverage relationships from referrals and making sure that you put your best foot forward when you connect with your ideal employer. There's AI in job seeking, so you can leverage LinkedIn's AI functionality and it will find careers for you. And then it also provides career insights, the backgrounds for specific positions, the level of education that they expect, and even specific details about pay and compensation. Your job is so much more than your just base salary. You really need to look at the total comp. So equity, benefits, time off, remote versus hybrid versus in person. These are all things that go into your total compensation package. So when you are considering your career or thinking about new opportunities, think about what you have presently and what value you're going to gain. Are you making a lateral or an upward move as you transition in your career? Messaging is a great opportunity to connect with people. So people that you know, people that you want to network with. If you'd like to get a referral, messaging is a great way just to reach out. I personally think it's best to build a relationship and build a rapport instead of just blindly asking for something. But as you are leveraging LinkedIn, if you do have a relationship with someone, it can't hurt to ask if they're at a company, hey, could you tell me about your experiences working there? How long have you been working there? What are some things you like about the organization? And then lead up to asking for a referral. If you just blindly ask, oh, hey, Brandon Harris, do you mind giving me a referral? I want to be a teacher all of a sudden, and I haven't talked to you in 10 years. That might be left on red. And so I think with social media, a lot of people lose their soft skills. So just treat it as if you were talking to somebody in person and let your personality shine through. Notifications. So you can control what notifications you receive, but these are just updates for your LinkedIn profile. So if you post something, you'll get a notification that somebody liked or commented on it. If someone in your circle posted content that might be insightful that you follow, you'll get a notification about it. And you can control what you want to subscribe to or not. And then the home screen is just your feed. So as companies or your followers and connections make posts, this is where you would see all of that information and you can scroll through your timeline. Any questions just about the basics on this page here? Okay. So how to leverage LinkedIn. Again, we kind of hinted on this, but use referrals and follow up when you're applying for jobs. So when I'm applying for a position with a company, what I do is like, let's say I'm a technical support engineer. I would go to LinkedIn and let's say the company is Apple. I'm looking for technical support engineers who work at Apple. And I'll strategically start connecting with those individuals. Hey, my name is Jordan, and I'm interested in learning about opportunities at Apple. I've seen you've been here for the past 5 years, and I'd love to spend, 20, 30 minutes connecting with you on Zoom, or maybe we could grab coffee if they're local. But it's a great way to get your foot in the door, and these could be the same individuals who are interviewing you. I've had a circumstance where they closed a job rec, and I reached out to someone on LinkedIn, and they interviewed me, and I actually got a job offer for the position. And so just using your voice, connecting and talking with people is paramount just for your career and figuring out your next opportunity. So that also ties hand in hand with strategically connecting to build your network. If you're in a career transition, so I said I work in technology, let's say that I'd want to go into the nonprofit space. I would try to connect with people like Theo Fowles and other professionals who work in the nonprofit space so that I could start building my network, seeing what they're posting, and even considering joining professional organizations that are supportive for nonprofits. And so you have LinkedIn as a place that connects you as your your introduction, and then you leverage that platform to connect with other individuals who are in the same field. And when do you look for jobs? So there are two times to look for jobs: when you're employed, and when you may be actively seeking because you need a job. I find that the best time to look for a job is when you're employed. So if you're frustrated at work, I know we have a tough political climate now. This is a great time to just keep your options open, understanding what's out there in the market. Um, it helps you plan and prepare. Every time I've been fortunate enough not to have to look for a job under pressure, I just kind of do it passively. And I also know what's going on because I could keep a good pulse of like the tech market. I see what individuals are asking for. So if I need to tweak my resume, I'm prepared. And I'm also confident going into interviews because I know what they're looking for, I know what they're asking for, and I kind of have an idea as far as salary expectations because I see so many job opportunities, what the market is paying, and I could command or ask for a different salary depending on the experiences that I offer. Wanted to pause here and see if there are any questions regarding the basics. Okay. All right, so for accounts, LinkedIn is free, and I use the free tier of LinkedIn. Premium is the uplift where you get different features. So for instance, you're able to see who looks at your profile. And I find that really helpful when you're looking for a job opportunity. Um, when someone looks at my profile, I see that someone who is in recruiting looked at my profile, but I don't know who that specific individual is. If I had a premium account, I could see that individual. I could connect with them strategically or message them after I see that, they came, checked out my profile, and it just gives you an opportunity to follow up more tactfully. I haven't used Sales Navigator or Recruiter, but if you are in the sales space or you're marketing something or you're a business owner, this would be a great opportunity for you. And if you're also in the recruiting space, the recruiting profile allows you to see who's open for work, and it allows you to strategically hire and place individuals within your organization. Any questions about accounts? And
I have a premium account, and I've kept it for a long time just because, like you were saying before, just keeping your head on a swivel. I don't know exactly ever when I'll be on the job hunt, so I just use it to see what people are doing and to see, what recruiters are asking, right? So I think that that's one of the things that I think about too, is that I look at having premium as an investment, um, especially if I'm thinking about moving.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that makes complete sense. One of the good things that LinkedIn does is it will give you a trial for premium. So I believe you get either 30 or 60 days free. And like, let's say you discontinue your premium account. Sometimes they'll have marketing where you'll get premium for 50% off. So depending on your needs, this is something that you can decide whether you want to subscribe to it or not. If you're a job seeker, I believe it is also free or something that you could write off. But you will want to check with your tax professional to see if you meet those requirements to leverage that tax strategy.
To that end, I had a premium account, but as I'm listening to this, I had a great idea to include. My wife has a word and wanted to share the benefits of a premium account, but she said that she'll drop a line as long as I keep my camera off. So come on over, I'll turn.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I was not ready for this experience and I'm still in my pajamas because yay, weekend. I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Alea Harris. As Brandon said, I am his wife, and I use LinkedIn as a
Premium.
sales tool and the premium account as a sales tool. I also use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. As an entrepreneur, I find LinkedIn to be kind of like the virtual networking party that is always on. It's like 24/7. And when you have a premium account, it's like being the coolest person in the room versus the person in the back that no one notices. LinkedIn Premium can get a little bit confusing because LinkedIn actually has several premium products. So if you are going to be a job seeker, first of all, you want to make sure you're open to work and that your open to work tag is either visible or invisible, depending on if your current boss knows you're open to work or not. And then when you sign up for premium, it allows you to send more messages, and your messages are better received, especially if you verified your profile using your ID. So verified premium profiles are seen as less creepy and spammy. So if you are applying for a job and you see during the application process that the hiring manager is available, when you have a premium profile, you are more legit, and they will see that you're serious about the full job seeking experience. If you take it to the next level and you sign up then for Sales Navigator, which is a different product than premium, when you have Sales Navigator, you automatically get a premium account as well. But Sales Navigator is a different tool created by LinkedIn that allows you to do more in-depth searching and messaging. I'm an entrepreneur, and the way that I use Sales Navigator is I outreach to create leads, so for lead generation. Using Sales Navigator and messaging to other premium profiles, I have a team that contacts 250 people per day, which is something that you could not do with just the regular profile. Now, I'm using that open profile and that LinkedIn Sales Navigator to contact clients to pay me. But if you're looking for a job search and you use Sales Navigator to hone in on HR directors in a certain area in a certain industry, you can do that same outreach that you would not normally be able to do with your regular profile. So those are some of the benefits. And I don't know if you can hear my toddler in the background, but she's saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." So I have to go.
But no, thank
We
you.
appreciate that, Mrs. Harris. Those are definitely insightful things. And so I'm not adept with the Sales Navigator, so I really appreciate the uplift and the layup you've given us just with those nuggets of knowledge. So thank you.
Absolutely. And if anybody wants to reach out to me because, and yes, fight on Theo, hey. If anyone to reach out to me, you can follow up with me at aleaharris.com. And then, I mean, this is not to brag, but just so you can see my profile is Alea Harris. It's really, really optimized. So I know that you guys, I've been ear hustling on this call from the other room. You guys have been dropping some really great nuggets of information that I have on my profile. So you can check it out. And then I'm always willing and open to connect with you and answer any questions that you might have, because I am an AKA. I'm not a Zeta. We have some AKA Sigma loving happen over here, but I am always willing to support any member of the Divine Nine community. Have a wonderful day. I'm going back into mom mode.
All right. Thank you so much.
So yeah, appreciate y'all for you know, having an ear to hear what she had to put down. One thing I do make sure I recruit the right people with the right information. So I knew she could have said that much better than me. So thanks.
Thank you for the layup, Brother Harris. What we're gonna do, and instead of doing a breakout session, we'll keep everyone here. Just do this popcorn style, but I don't want Brother Fowles or Brother Harris to speak up, but anyone else on this chat, if you could, let me know your profession. Let me know what are some unique ways that you leverage LinkedIn, and what additional questions would you have about leveraging LinkedIn? If you don't feel comfortable coming off of mute and bringing on your camera, you can also put the message in the chat as well.
Well, I'll speak up. I work in workforce development, so I assist people in their transition back into the workforce. So I work with youth and high-level professionals. Anyone who's looking for work, I'm able to assist them with that process. I see how LinkedIn could be used to leverage that. I've just, to be honest, have been really my LinkedIn game is trash. I haven't spent a lot of time, developing. I do have a profile, but even the profile, when I do get hits, because I'm typically not looking for work. I kind of did it because it was recommended by some youth that I'd worked with, and they were like, "Oh, Mr. Smith, you should get on the LinkedIn." They also got me on Facebook, and so I have to improve my social media game, and kind of get involved. Oftentimes when I get hits from LinkedIn, I'm afraid that it's spam or it's some sales position that they're, looking to fill. And so I've been really leery with it. So I will say that you've given me a lot of confidence today just to, just to look at how you could use it and be effective in developing new leads and possibly even entrepreneurial opportunities. So thank you. I don't have any additional questions about it. Like I said, I appreciate it. And I know that there was an offer to kind of consult for a small fee. And I would actually like to consider that now going through this process. I'd like to consider that to see if I can optimize my profile more effectively. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
No problem. I'll make sure to follow up with you. And again, for the consulting, all of the proceeds go to the William Nickerson Scholarship. So we're just using this as a vertical to have more money to give to our scholars this year and next year. No, but thank you for that feedback. I think one of the things I found is that if I'm interviewing somebody and they don't have a LinkedIn profile, like my radars and flags go off. I was like, okay, like I can't find anything about you, and I'm just supposed to trust what you tell me on face value. And so I think that at a bare minimum, you should have a LinkedIn, you should have a strong resume, and social media, I would lock that down and close that. I think your personal and private life should be separate unless you're like some type of social media marketing manager where you need to have that part of your life visible. But I usually try to keep my personal life private and my professional life public. So that's how I control the narrative of how I reflect myself professionally. Could I get one or maybe two more people to come off mute and share how they leverage LinkedIn and also what your profession is?
I'll go. Hold on a second. Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Dr. Candy Williams. Well, one of the reasons I came on here today is to learn more about how to better use LinkedIn, because I'm possibly going through a bit of a career transition here. But currently, I'm working as a vocational rehabilitation counselor. I'm also a personal development coach on the side. So I'm working in the government, maybe trying to explore some other options at this point, since we're going through so many changes right now.
Yeah.
And so I've had my LinkedIn page for a while, and I know I need to probably do some different things with it now that I'm actively trying to look for work. And so I'm just trying to figure out, kind of the best ways to approach the different areas and what I should or shouldn't put down. I noticed you were mentioning something about the ageism piece earlier. So I'm going to take a second look at that. And,
Yeah. And again, just put out what you feel comfortable with. I don't think you should ever lie or manipulate or try to mislead people on LinkedIn. But however you want to present yourself, do that to be comfortable. And yeah, definitely best of luck in your job search career. I really feel for state and local government professionals who are being disrupted by just things that are well out of our control.
Yeah. Thank you.
Brother Fowles and then Brother Harris. And you're on mute.
I am
brother.
on mute. Thanks, Brother Taswell. Dr. Williams, I just clicked on your profile. So in hearing you say that you're looking to potentially change careers and that you've done some coaching and things like that, one of the things that um, that maybe you can take from Mrs. Harris's profile is the way that she posts. She does a lot of coaching as well, and in her profile, she'll often talk about small things that she does with clients, right? Like how does she support them, or what are some common themes or topics that come up, and in doing that, it kind of shares her expertise with the larger LinkedIn community, and that definitely does two things. It one reinforces that you know what you're talking about, and then kind of in a social media influencer type of way, people start to ping you and ask you questions. Opportunities may come up for you to speak or things like that based off of the types of content that you're willing to share with people on LinkedIn. I think the other thing that I noticed as well, or one of the things that I do that's really helpful to kind of bolster a LinkedIn profile, and this could be for Brother Smith as well, is think about your everybody has like job review points throughout the year, right? Like, you know, you got a mid-year review, you got an end of the year review. I take those same review opportunities and I use those opportunities to bolster my LinkedIn profile, because I don't remember what I did last year, but if I think about what happened in my mid-year review, I can say, oh yeah, I did work on that project, right? And it helps me think about the things that I might have missed or might forget about. So I try to do that frequently, because otherwise, it seems like I'll do the same things over, have similar projects, but if you do it in real time, it'll allow you to kind of highlight some of those distinctions as well.
Thank you, Brother Fowles. Brother Harris. You're on mute, Brother Harris.
Okay, sorry about that. No, I was just saying all good things that everyone is putting down. I definitely want to echo Brother Dr. Theo's comment on it's a brag book. Yeah, the most important thing to remember about LinkedIn is it's still a social media platform, and so you want to make sure you try to post once a week. You engage with other professions, other profiles that you are interested in and being a part of. They're going to see that engagement and interaction, right? They're going to be curious about your profile. And so they're like, oh, you left a comment or you left a like or a heart. Everybody else is liked my comment, you put a heart on mine. So, just like in social media, you want to see who's liking my content more than everybody else. And so they'll go to your profile, and that kind of is a way to attract the people that you want to look at your profile. And so making sure you stay relevant, not just liking and engaging with their content, but also offering some insight or leaving a comment that adds to the conversation is also a good thing. And so you're kind of positioning yourself as someone who knows what they're talking about as well on their content. You're talk about leveraging LinkedIn. You're leveraging their posts by saying, you know what, in addition to that, or to that end, or you leaving a comment, opening up by saying, in my 10 years of experience right? And so now people are like 10 years of it. Who are you? So it's kind of like you're not you in a good way, in a nice in a nice way, you're positioning yourself as a professional on their content. And so then when they get back to your page, uh you also have make sure that you do your original posts that are relative to your work, yourself as a resource, what you can do for people. And so I recommend that, you know. And so at the top of your profile, not just having your role and your title, but sprinkle it with some words that let people know what you can do for them, because this is still a what's in it for me culture. They don't care how many degrees and what you've been doing, for how long you've been doing it, if they can't see you solving a problem for them. Denzel mouth. Okay. So that's just some of the most realest stuff that I can say with my time, is that if you position yourself as somebody that is it can solve an unmet need for them online, then you'll be getting reached out to. And yeah, that's what I just want to add to that.
Thanks, Brother Harris. Brother Smith, if you don't mind, just for sake of time, I see your hands up. How can we hear out what you have to say?
Go ahead. I'll ask it offline. In the interest of time, I'll ask offline.
No, it's okay. We have a little time. It's all right.
Okay. I was just going to ask just really quickly. I know you had mentioned trying to keep your social media separate from the LinkedIn, your personal and your professional. Now, I'm in the process of publishing a book. And so are there some ways that you could utilize LinkedIn to kind of market it? I'll also be, this is new for me because my generation, we didn't post our life. We kept our stuff in secret. So for me, this is kind of this. So I don't have any crazy things uploaded because we just didn't do that in my generation. But how can I utilize, because I do want to do some of the Instagram posts and those, I'd like to kind of get stuck in the algorithm as it relates to interviewing and providing those soft skills. How do you do that and then connect it to the LinkedIn, or do you just kind of keep those separate and you just market in the two different mediums?
Yeah. So on the front of social media and LinkedIn, I would create a business profile for social media. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and you can come up with your own curated video content. So like, let's say that you do a recording where you do a mock interview and you post that on all social media platforms. You can also post that on LinkedIn, and that's the content you choose to share. For your social media platform, I would keep that professional one professional. I wouldn't say, oh, I'm Vendon Smith and now I'm an author and trying to get into this space. Like, I would create a separate new account, build followers, and strategically work on building that profile organically, just so that your followers can connect with you. They see that you are running a business and that it operates as such. So on a high level, that would be the best way that I could answer that. But I'm happy to connect with you offline if you want to dive a little deeper on strategy and tools that you could leverage to go about that.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to go ahead and transition. One of the things I did want to show before we concluded were what a good profile is, and also some profiles that could use some uplift. And so this is no one that I know in particular. As you see, it's a third connection, but I looked for John Smith, the most generic name that you could find. And like, I don't see a photo. I don't see any background. I see that he works for this organization. It's great that he has some information about what he does as a profession. But like, when I look into experience, I don't know what a lead solutions architect does. I don't know what the company does. And so if I was a hiring manager, if I was trying to learn about this company, it really doesn't give me any direction about who this individual is. If we were connected, I may be able to see more information, but like, we're not, and this is still not a good amount of information that I can receive. I am able to see like his birthday and his profile URL, but that's about it. Another profile that I wanted to highlight that looks good would be the latter is Dr. Theophilos. And so he has a personal branding for his border. He might need to update his profile photo. His locks grew, unless those are like faux locks, so I'm not sure. But you just want to make sure that it looks like you are presently. I can tell that's you, so I'm not going to ding you too much on it. It discusses in your headline what you focus on. So you're a career coach, strategist, a brainstormer. And so these are all great things to have. It lists where you are presently. One thing that I didn't highlight, and it's completely up to you, is your location. So for your location, that can be good and bad. I'm from the East Coast and I moved out to the West Coast for work. If you are looking for career opportunities, it may be difficult or you may face challenges depending on where you're geographically located. They may want to hire local talent or they may not want to pay extra money with relocation assistance and things like that. So they look for local talent. So you can list United States just generally and not have a specific locale. And that's just like a little nugget as you are in your career search. If you're considering opportunities and even remote work or relocating, just kind of look at what you're advertising. And same thing for your resume. You don't have to put your address or things like that on there. Just put how they can get in contact with you. I don't think they're going to be sending you any letters or things like that. And if they need your address later, they'll get it once you get to those stages. Dr. Fowles quickly goes through how who he is and what he provides. Could be a little more context, but he does post a lot, and so I can see a lot of his featured articles. I can see activity. He posted about our scholarship luncheon coming up. He connects and provides insightful comments. And then like for his experience, it goes deeply into like what he does and their articles tied with it. So this is a great LinkedIn profile. And then this is my profile. So it would look a little different if you were viewing it, but because I'm viewing it, this is, you see what I see. I am advertising that I'm open to work, but I just don't have the green banner. And so it just lets recruiters know I want to hear about specific opportunities. I have my contact information listed here and also my headline. I go into what I specifically do. And then I also have highlighted top skills. So these are critical things that as an architect, people want you to have technical competencies around this. So I made sure to highlight that. You see some of my recent posts, whether it's personal or for career. And then I also have my career experience. I do need to update my last two positions. I haven't included what it is I do for work in the description. And so that will be some homework for me this weekend. But for other positions, I do list like what the organization is and what I've done, bulleted points to understand how I've added value. In addition, I have skills associated with that kind of highlights and validates where I've obtained these skills. So if I say that I have 5 years or 10 years of experience, my LinkedIn profile reflects that. And so you can kind of go through my complete professional background here. In addition, I list all my certifications. I'm a lover of knowledge, and so I continue to get professional certifications throughout the year. I list my volunteer experience, and I also have several recommendations from past employers who have good things to say about me. One of the good things about recommendations are that you can screen them. So you can't, if you ask someone to write something and they speak poorly of you, or if you don't like what they said, you don't have to post it, or you can ask them to make revisions before you accept it. So that's one good thing about LinkedIn. I've listed courses, my awards and honors, and then language proficiencies and just organizations that I'm affiliated with. The last profile that I'd love to look at is Dr. Harris's wife. So she said it's well optimized. It looks great. You have a fun photo. You also have this amazing custom background. She talks about who she is. One of the things that I did not highlight is for your name. You can also have your voice behind it. So if I click this sound, it would say her name and her voice. And so that could be helpful just if you have a challenging name and you want to get over that awkward hurdle, you can record yourself saying your name so that people can get it correct. We have about her, so we can see her services. There's a plethora of information, so there's no shortage of learning what she does for work, from her master class to understanding about her sales team and how she buys and markets. She also lists her services again because she's using the Sales Navigator. And so I'm able to like request a service and connect with her based on what she's marketing. I'll go back. And then also I can see her experience. And so she's self-employed. Her organization is the Evolution Collective. And then I can also see she was the global marketing director, Story Brand. And so it really tells a good story of her professional career. I see that she went to USC, and then she also is a culinary arts major. So I'm gonna come over to y'all's house for dinner at some point. And then there's some good volunteering experience and skills. So storytelling, motivation, you have recommendations, awards, and honors. So these are all the key aspects of LinkedIn, just from a basic perspective that you'd want to pursue. We can definitely look into having advanced or even targeted discussions. The way that I use LinkedIn as an engineer could be very different from how someone in government uses LinkedIn or a researcher. And so definitely connect with each other. If you can, drop your LinkedIn profile in the comments section. And I'm going to pause just to see if there are any additional questions before we wrap up for today. Well, again, everyone, thank you for your time. Again, this will be recorded and we will list it on the Los Angeles Sigma's YouTube channel so you can rewatch. And again, marketing, if you guys would like to have your LinkedIn profiles optimized or reviewed, we are doing that for $50. And that $50 proceed goes towards the William Nickerson Scholarship Luncheon, which is happening on June 28th of this year. And so our goal is to give out about $12,000 in scholarships, and the money we raise will allow us to give even more next year. So thanks for your time. Oh, Dr. Williams, yes. And I think you're on.
I was just going to ask, how do we find out about the optimization option?
If you don't mind dropping your email in the chat, I can follow up with you. And we would be more than happy to connect with you. And Theo also dropped the rally up for the campaign details. So that would be another avenue there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And then Brother Smith, I'll follow up with you as well. So we have 2 interested, and if anyone else changes their mind or may be interested, we're happy to give you a high-level summary. And again, what that entails is we'll get your LinkedIn URL. The same way I went through that random profile, what I'll do is provide tactical recommendations that you could leverage to uplift your profile, and then you would act upon it to make those changes. I can even provide suggestions for like career resume writers, photographers. I know Brother Moore is here and he's an amazing photographer. So just getting those headshots updated if you ever needed those uplift services. Definitely want to leverage our local network. Okay. Last pause for questions. Hearing none, I'll go ahead and conclude this. Hope everyone enjoys their day in this beautiful weather in LA if you're in Southern California.
Thank you, brother Dr. Files, Brother Tazwell, for spearheading and taking this on the lead and materializing this, making this a reality. And all you brothers and our sister on the call, Dr. Candy Williams.